Hello, everybody. Today, I'm going to be talking about the difference between centralized and decentralized finances. I'm going to be discussing what are the difference between one and the other, the characteristics of each other, and basically which one is better for which scenario, and like what are the future expectations of the finances. So let's start. So understanding the landscape. Well, first, like a quick introduction, like as always, centralized finances basically are like what we have nowadays. That what's standardized nowadays. So the money that's on the banks, that you put on the banks, like the dollars, the euros, all this is centralized finances. There's the bank, who is like the central authority, right? Like the bank or the government, and they are the ones like managing our money, and we have to trust these organizations with it. Then you have the decentralized finances, which is like the Bitcoin, like the Ethereum, like basically the blockchain. These finances where you don't have this central authority that have powers over everything. So let's first start with the centralized finances. Like I said, the centralized finances have this control over your money, this power over your money, and although it is still yours and you can still do what you want, at the end of the day, the real owners, like they're the ones that have the power over it, is the bank. Like if the bank once they goes crazy and says, "Oh no, this money is mine," then your money is gone. Like I said, you don't have 100% ownership over your money, and if you don't really trust the bank or if you don't really trust the government, I mean, there is a chance they could take your money. This is not usually doesn't happen. Mostly not in countries like in first world countries, but like maybe in like third world countries where there's corruption or where the government might have malicious intents. Then somebody could do something, could take your money away, and that's a big problem, of course, because nobody likes it when they take what's yours. Uh, so now let's go to the centralized, like the issues of the centralized finances. Like I said, there's this issue of the trust of ownership. Like you have to trust the bank and all that, and there's like also the access barrier where no everybody has access to a centralized bank, centralized finance unit. Let's say people that live in Africa, that live in very remote areas, access to a bank might be really tricky, or the bank might not accept all type of clients. Some banks reject like poorer clients or clients that don't meet certain requirements. So these are like this is a very important drawback from the centralized finances. So now let's discuss the decentralized finances. So the decentralized finances solve many of these issues. Now you don't have this central authority. Everything is in a blockchain, so nobody has power over your money. It's only you. Everybody's welcome. There is no requirements or no criteria you have to meet to own the decentralized currency. So it's more accessible, basically, and in many ways it could be classified as a better option. Well, I mean the way they work, of course, it's very simple, I will say, because you have the smart contracts. They are the ones who handle the transactions and all the decentralized apps. So instead of having a bankier, a bank worker that controls things and handle operations, you have the centralized the smart contracts who handle all these operations. It's very transparent because everything is in a blockchain. Nobody can change the blockchain, so everything is recorded there. So it's very secure and decentralized. And you can do trading and exchanges on applications and without ID checks. Nobody has to know your passport number or your social security number. No, you don't need to do that. You just you just add your wallet and do your transaction, and that's it. Very straightforward. So, like I said, these are the like I mentioned, but like already, it has many benefits. Like you have full control over your money. Nobody else has control over what your currencies but you. There's no bank who has power over you. You can do transactions at all hours, unless banks, of course, they have to close at a certain time. The decentralized currency and the centralized finances, the websites are always online, so you can always do the transactions. The transaction fees are also reduced. Since there is not an actual worker doing the transaction, it's just smart contracts. You usually have to pay way less for transaction fees, and it's very innovative, of course. They offer many financial options and many financial possibilities that regular finances don't. Let's keep going. So now we have both options side by side. Decentralized, you have to trust the bank, you have to trust the central authority, but you never have 100% ownership over your money. And on the other side, you have the decentralized finances, who, like in this case, you also need to have a lot of responsibility with your money. You cannot just go crazy. Since when you do something wrong, there is not a centralized authority you can reach out to solve a problem. Like let's say you send money to the wrong address, then that money is probably gone forever. You won't see it back. So you need to have more authority. Here are two examples. On one side you have Binance. It's a platform. It's actually for trading, but you have to do ID checks and you have to trust the Binance platform. So it's kind of a centralized authority. And then you have Aave, where you just have to go in, you do the trading, and no ID checks, no nothing. It's very direct, very fast, and very decentralized. All right, let's speed it up because we don't have much time. So as I said, there are like the ethical considerations for centralized authorities, finances. You have to trust the authorities. You have to trust the bank or the big boss. For decentralized finances, you don't have to trust these people, but you do have to be responsible with your money because if you screw up, then it's over. So like I said, for centralized finances, you do have this feeling of safety because at least you know your money won't go anywhere, and if something gross happen, you can always reach out to the central authority, to the central, um, to the big boss, the bank. Uh, but the decentralized finances give you more power and more flexibility on what you can do with your money. So probably in the future we will see a both a fusion between both centralized and decentralized finances, with the security of the and security of the decentralized finances, like in the blockchain, with the safety of feeling of a centralized finance. So that's all for today. Thank you for listening.